Hello everybody, today we're doing a video for GTA Car Kits in a 2014 Mercedes CLA, and the same installation instructions can be used in a 2015 Mercedes GLA. And today we're going to show you how to install our Apple CarPlay and Android Auto kit. As you can see, it's already installed into this car. It's paired to our iPhone wirelessly. You can also pair it to your Android phone wirelessly. You can control the entire system with the original controls here in the middle. You will not lose any functionality of your original Mercedes system. You can press and hold the back button in the middle and switch to the original system. And if you will put your car into reverse, this image of CarPlay or Android Auto will go away and you'll see the original rear view camera display. The system uses original microphone for voice commands like Siri or Google Assistant. So the tools that you're going to need is a T20 Torx, a panel removal tool. This is our hook tool. And of course you're going to need our product. So the first thing that we're going to do, and it's the hardest part about installing into this car, we need to remove these two vents. We're going to be using our hook tool, but you can find a tool on Amazon. It's called the Mercedes radio removal tool. It will look the same, but it will have a longer handle. You have to, and I'll show you after, it's hard to see, but there's right in the middle there is a opening where you have to stick the tool in and then pull as hard as you can. But we already removed these vents, so it's easier for us to remove, but for you first time it's going to be really difficult. So once you remove it, you can take it out. So this is the hole where we stuck our tool in, as you can see right there, and we just pulled it out. So we'll do the same thing for the driver's side. Basically, when you're going to be removing for the first time, it's really difficult. Plus, if the tool slips, you can damage the actual vents. So now we're going to be using our T20 Torx in order to undo two bolts. So there's one on this side over there in the middle, and same on the other side right there. You don't have to undo them fully. They have this special blocker. I undid it and that's it. It's not going anymore. I can technically turn it more, but it's gonna break this plastic blocker. This just ensures that the bolts get unlocked and the locks can slide open. So that's it, the bolt is not screwing anymore. So now we can grab our panel removal tool in order to remove the stereo. So we'll get underneath here. You're gonna wiggle it out. On this side, if you look from this side, you're gonna see this cable connection, and we're gonna press on the clip in order to disconnect it. Now we can pull the stereo out, and I'm just gonna show you what I was doing with the locks. This is the lock, and it has the bolt on top. So once you undo the bolt, then the locks can open. So now we're going to show you what comes in our kit. You have your main module, which we're going to hide underneath the center console here. We have the video cables, which we're going to connect at the back of the stereo and into our module. We have our wireless antenna. We have our USB cable, which is used for updates or for wired connections for Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. And this is our main harness that we will connect at the back of the stereo. So at the back of the stereo, we have to disconnect the original harness. So here, there's a clip at the bottom that will let you undo the lock, and then you can release it. And then we need to disconnect this gray wire. That's our video cable. So there is a clip at the bottom, which I'm pressing now, and then I'm gonna use our panel removal tool in order to carefully wiggle it out. As you can see, it comes out. There you go. This is the video cable. Over here at the back of the original harness, this is the fiber optic cable for sound, and you have to transfer it over into our harness, otherwise you're not going to get any sound. So we're going to use our hook tool to get underneath this clip, and that way we can remove it. Now we're going to take our harness. So it has these two ends, male and a female. The female will go with the original harness. So the lock has to be unlocked. You have to insert it, and then you lock it in place. This is our male harness. So don't forget to transfer over the fiber optic cable. Once it's not in the way of anything, and this cable is free like this, you will just take it, and with this clip upwards, you will just clip it in. And at this point you can connect it to the back of the stereo with the lock open. Insert it straight all the way in, and then you lock it in place. So this is our video cable. So it has one of the males is on one side, and it's like a Y splitter. So this end will go into our module, and on the other end you have a male and a female. So the original wire which we removed will go into the female, and the male will go into the back of the stereo instead of that original gray wire which we disconnected. And so you end up with this video cable and the other end of our harness. All of these we're gonna have to feed down and behind the dash in order to catch it on the passenger side. So now here on the passenger side we will peel back this carpet. This is where we will put through our wiring. So over here there's space to feed the wires through, and there's also space to hide the module. So now we need to feed these wires down there, and we're gonna catch them on the passenger side. So in order to feed them, you're gonna see that there's an opening right here in the middle, and wherever I'm sticking my hand through, and if I'm going towards the passenger side, the opening is big enough to fit all of these wires through. So we'll first start with our video wire. So this one, we're gonna stick it underneath here. You shouldn't rush this part because there are many sharp edges behind the stereo. And now I cut the wire, and as you can see I have the wire coming out here. Now we will do the same thing with our harness wire. Carefully feed the wires through, and as you see we have them all coming out here. So now we need to figure out how to put everything back in so there's enough space for the stereo to go back in with all these extra wires installed. In this car there's that same middle opening which we used to feed the wires to the side. This is where you gotta take this harness and you kind of put it underneath, and you stick it below into that opening below the stereo and everything, so it's not in the way. And then you can also see as you have this extra harness, you can pull the harness through. That's the one we fed through, so it's not in the way. Also the extra video cable length also pull carefully. We're gonna make sure not to forget the side wire which we removed. At this point you will also unlock the two locks. There you go. So now you can start putting the stereo in. Don't forget to connect the side connection here, otherwise this bottom row will not work. The only thing you're gonna make sure now is that the radio goes all the way in, but we will not secure it yet because we have to connect all the wires to the module and do all the testing. But if it gets to this position, then it's good. So this is our module, and we're gonna start doing the connections. So we're gonna connect the power harness, the second one, and then we will connect the video. Make sure that it goes all the way in. So the wireless antenna is simple, it just plugs in. And then the USB, we suggest that in this car the best spot would be for it to come out right here from the side. You can, once you're putting everything back, you just can put the carpet back and it's going to be just the USB coming out. You're not going to be using it often. We will plug it in right now, and then you have the extra length of the wire. You're also going to make sure that the switches are set correct. So for the CLA and GLA of this year, 2014 to 2015, the switch number 5 has to be on. So we turn on the ignition. As you can see, the screen is on, and the next thing we're going to do, we're going to activate the auxiliary. And in order to do that, we need to enter the engineering mode, and to do that you need to press the hang up button, number 1 and the pound, and you're gonna hold them all together at the same time until the engineering menu appears. Here you go, it's on the screen. You're gonna go to section number 7, then first you go to section 7.5, and you're gonna take note of what you see on the screen, particularly for audio source, if it's gonna say internal amp or external amp. And once you made that note, then you will go to MOST and you turn it off. Turning it off will let you do the changes that we're going to do next. You're going to go out and then down to section 7.7, and over here you're going to go to audio AUX, and here you got to make sure that it's turned on. Once you switch it from off to on, you can now go back to section 7.5 and turn MOST back on. So this locks all the changes in place. You're also going to check that you put it back to internal or external amp, depending how it was before. Now we can go out of section 7. Then you're going to go down and you're going to end the session. And at this point, we suggest to turn off the ignition, lock the car for 5 minutes, and then test the sound. And we're also going to test the sound for CarPlay. We turned off the car, we locked it, now we turn it back on. Same thing, the ignition is on. So we tested the AM, FM, everything works as original. So now we're going to go to audio. We're going to go all the way down and you have to select auxiliary. So you're going to be using auxiliary mode in order to hear stuff from Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. Next, we will press the back button here in the middle. We're going to press and hold and you're going to see that the screen will change. And you will get an extra mode which you didn't have before, as you can see. So everything displays properly. Next, we're going to take our iPhone and we're going to connect it first by the wire in order to test. It's going to ask you to unlock the phone in order to use CarPlay. And as you can hear, the music is playing, so that's good. So then we're going to use the scroll wheel in order to check that everything is showing up properly, which it does. And if you go here to the home section, you can enter back to the settings and then you can pair your phone wirelessly there. So now we peeled back the carpet, as you can see here. So there's space for our module to go. And we will just carefully put it in. And then you can put the wires behind this black plastic piece. So when you're doing it, make sure to take your time and do it carefully so there's enough space for the carpet to go back just like it was originally. And then this is our USB cable. So depending on the length, we're gonna make sure to leave some length for us. And now we can put back our carpet. So you start here and then you work your way up. Make sure that you're careful with the fingers. This portion is sharp. And then see now the module is hidden and all you have here is your USB. So now we will push the radio in, and once it lines up here, we will insert our Torx and we will tighten the lock. So these are our vents, so they're both the same, and when you're putting them back in, make sure that this top portion is on top, of course. So they simply slide in, lock in place. Same with the other side. So as you can see, we have Apple CarPlay on the screen. Our phone is paired wirelessly. You can also pair your Android phone wirelessly. The installation is complete, the radio back in its place. So again, this was a video for GTA Car Kits. I hope you liked it, and we'll see you next time.